everyone, and welcome back to the Cozy Corner. My name is Lee, and this is my library, so grab a mug of something yummy and settle in for some talk of books. It is spooky season TBR time, and I am so here for it. Oh, I am so excited. I have so many good books that I want to read. I am in the middle of completing my Around the World in 325 Days Europe edition of that reading challenge, so there are some books that I'm going to have to let take precedence over my spooky season TBR because I want to get that done. But I have a plethora of books to choose from for October for spooky season because I am reading 2 books at once, and so I want a assigned reading and then 1 spooky season read, and oh, I have such good ones in my TBR. I'm so excited. So there are going to be 2 sections to this video, the new to me section and the cozy mystery reread section, and so there are 4 or 5 books in each section, and I know that I will not get to all of them, but it is what it is. I just wanted good thriller, juicy murder mystery, chilling, creepy reads to have at my fingertips during my favorite month, which is October. So without further ado, let's meet the titles. So I think we're going to start with the ones that are new to me and end with the cozy murder mysteries. So the first one that I have on my, oops, of course I would drop it. The first one I have on my TBR is actually 2 mini novellas or short stories, The Turn of the Screw and Daisy Miller by Henry James. So Daisy Miller is about a girl who is the epitome of society, and yet horrible things happen to and around her. So it promises to be thrilling. And then Turn of the Screw, which is the one that I am more familiar with, follows the story of a governess who goes to tend to 2 children in a creepy manner, and all of this bizarro stuff starts happening to her. And whether it's the house itself or the proprietor of the house, she doesn't know. I did actually read part of Turn of the Screw for my Halloween readathon last year, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, but I unfortunately never got around to finishing it, so I'm excited to see if I can check these off the list. Next, we have a book that I rescued from a book sale, and that is A Reliable Wife by Robert Gulrick. This follows the story of Catherine Land. And Catherine Land reads in an old Chicago newspaper of a man who placed an ad for a reliable wife. And this man is wealthy and rich, and so she concocts this very detailed murder to kill her potential husband to become a wealthy widow. But what she doesn't know is that, Ralph Truitt, who is the wealthy, enigmatic, and lonely man who placed the ad, has plans of his own. So I think it might be maybe a little bit of a romance, although from everything about the cover of this book says this is a Black Widow murder mystery, and I am here for it. So I'm excited for this one. I love a good steamy, literally the back says, a rousing historical potboiler. A glittering poisoned ice cube of a tale. Oh, I am so here for this. I haven't read a whole lot of Black Widow stories, so I'm excited to see what this is. I love stories that take place on trains. Very Murder of the Orient Express-y. The next book on my to-read, or TBR, is The Dark Days Club by Alison Goodman. I mentioned this in my Finally Fall book tag a few videos ago. I'm very excited for this. I bought this at a library rescue sale. This follows the story of Lady Helen Rexel, who is 18, and she is living the idyllic life in Regency-era England until her maid winds up dead, and she is thrown into the dark, seedy underground of Regency London and stumbles across a man named Lord Carlston. And Lord Carlston and Helen set out to find the source of all of these murders that are happening, which they believe to be a cabal of demons. So they're demon hunters in Regency London, but Lord Carlston has a whole backstory that he is not sharing with Helen. He is full of secrets, and along the way Helen finds some secrets about her past as well. So this promises to be incredible. I have been staring at it for so long on my TBR, and I cannot wait to read this and to check it off the list because it's just so gloomy, atmospheric, perfect for foggy days. It just sounds so good, and I can't wait to read it. And then the last new to me book is, of course, One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. This will be the first thing I read once I finish one of the 2 books that I'm currently reading, because I have been waiting to read this for forever. Oh, I'm so excited. Everyone is talking about this. I think this is actually going to become a TV series, I think is what I have heard. And so there are 5 characters, very Breakfast Club vibes. All of them are, you know, the archetypes of high school. And then Simon, who is the outcast, ends up getting murdered, and everyone thinks it was an accident, but obviously it wasn't, because someone of the remaining 4 of these friends knows something. But, you know, the big motivator is that Simon had planned to expose all of these secrets for all of these people. He died on a Monday, and on the next Tuesday he had been planning to reveal all these secrets. So obviously someone is lying twofold: who killed him, but also what secrets are they hiding. It's the kind of stuff that just grips me. And I really want to read, I think it's The Cousins is the other one that she wrote. Oh, it's just my favorite. I've been waiting to read this one for so long. So no spoilers, please. And I can't wait to check this one off my list as well. Next, we are moving on to the cozy murder mysteries. Where would we be in Halloween time if we didn't have cozy murder mysteries? They are just like being wrapped in a warm blanket with a mug of something delicious and warm. Oh, it's just the epitome of cozy, which is why I'm assuming they're called cozies. Duh, Lee. Oh, so we're starting with the one that is not new to me. It is a reread, and that is Chocolate Chip Cookie Murder by Joanne Fluke. I did mention this as well in my Finally Fall book tag video. This is a series that we have had in my family for years. Dare I say decades. It is a murder mystery series that we always buy the new installations installments of this series for each other for Christmas, and we pass them around to each other once we finish reading. But this is the first. I kind of wanted to for a while reread this whole series, but she has like 25 plus books in this series, so it'll take me forever to get through them. But I had a hankering a while ago to reread the first one because I love this series so much. So this follows the story of Hannah Swenson, who has just moved back to her hometown of Lake Eden, Minnesota after college and a particularly bad sort of breakup. They were never really in a relationship, but with a professor, she had kind of a he led me on type situation. So she goes back home in search of something to do, and decides to open a bakery called the Cookie Jar. She specializes in cookies, and on the very first week of her owning her own business, someone winds up dead in her kitchen, and this amateur sleuth ends up helping solve the murder, which is the premise for every other book in this series. But I love Hannah Swenson so much. There is some drool-worthy men in this series, and it's just one of those towns where, I was like, why do people still live here? Why do people keep moving to Lake Eden when every season there is 1 or 2 deaths? Who knew? But we also really love it because there are delicious cookie recipes. We have tried nearly all of the cookie recipes in this series, and they are all exceptional. Yeah, she has a needy mom, 2 attractive men, a best friend, and a cat. It's so good. I love it a lot, so I can't wait to reread this one as well. The next 2 are installments of another murder mystery series that we recently started maybe a year or so ago, which is the Bookstore Café Mysteries. I have the next 2 installments of them. I have Death by French Roast and Death by Café Mocha, and this follows the story of Chrissy. Chrissy is a co-proprietor with her best friend of the Bookstore Café. Chrissy runs the cafe, her best friend runs the bookstore. And yes, there are cats, 2 of them, who are part of the business. So Death by French Roast is actually a dual timeline story. So Chrissy's friend's mom has recently passed away, and as she goes to help her friend clean out her mom's house, she discovers that she died peacefully, whereas her brother did not. So her friend's uncle did not. His name was Wade, and Wade was murdered, and the case was never solved. That isn't happening in the past. And then present day, the town gossip, whose name is Rita. Rita was actually involved with Wade at the time of his murder, and so Chrissy and Rita, I think, team up to solve Wade's long since closed murder. So it's a cold case, which is interesting. I've never read that part, or like that trope in a cozy murder mystery. Usually it's like right now murder that's happening, but it will be interesting to see how a cold case plays out. Chrissy also does have the two men situation. The one whose name is Paul, who's the police officer, and then one who's a doctor. So, you know, it's a trope of cozy mysteries. It has to happen. Then Death by Café Mocha, they are going on a little bit of a vacation. They're going to a coffee lovers convention. Chrissy and her co-workers are going to a coffee convention at this fancy hotel. And while they are there, a flavor competition ensues of who has the best flavored beans, I think is what the competition is about. And then one of the contestants winds up dead. And there are rumors of bribery and espionage and stealing, and was the murder victim bribing the judges. There's a whole lot of controversy that happens at this conference, and so they are out of town and without the security of their normal police force. I just realized that her heartthrob won't be there, so interesting. Maybe there's another party that enters the story, but both of them sound great. I have no doubt that I will fly through them. They move so quickly, and it's, you know, you don't have to work real hard with cozy mysteries, because they're just, like I said, a hug, and it's just a perfect dose of yummy and spooky. And then we have a brand new cozy mystery series to my family. We discovered these last Christmas, so I think we have only read the first two, but there are several in the series. But this is the Mary Muffin Mystery Series by Victoria Hamilton, and this first one is called Brand New Death. So this follows the story of Mary, and what's her last name? Mary Winter. And she moves to the town of Autumn Vale, iconic, in upstate New York, and she decides to turn her passion for baking into a business. Can you sense a theme? And she goes to this particular spot in New York because she inherited it from her late uncle. And when she gets there, she discovers that the town has a lot of enmity for her late uncle, and a local baker and her family blame her Uncle Mel, I think his name? Yeah, Uncle Mel, for the death of their father. And so Tom, who is the brother of this baker, she's pretty sure he's the one who continues to vandalize her property while she's there. But then when Tom winds up dead on her property, she has to go about proving her innocence, as well as proving whether Uncle Mel actually did kill their father or not. So I think there's recipes in here too. Oh, good. Anyway, so this is Brand New Death. It sounds like it's gonna be a real good one. New format, which is good. Two things that I forgot to mention before I introduce the second one is that Mary is a failed fashion stylist from New York City. And that also the place she inherited is Winter Castle. And so this is the second in the series, Muffin but Murder. I think this is a blueberry muffin one. The previous one was Bran muffin. But Winter Castle is proving to be a lot of upkeep. And so she decides to throw a fundraiser spooky soiree to get people in the building and to be interested in her bakery business. And so she throws this big Halloween party, again, so good, perfectly timed in Autumn Vale. And as the party clears out, there's one guest who isn't leaving or even breathing. And so she has to hurry and unmask the killer, so that, you know, her business doesn't go under and her night doesn't turn into a recipe for disaster. We love play on words. Anyway, so this I think promises to be, again, a short, easy read cozy murder mystery that I can't wait to sink my teeth into. And there we have it, all 9 books for my spooky season TBR. Like I said, I probably, most likely, will not get to all of them, but I do have a few that I absolutely want to tackle, and to be honest, I will probably read more cozies than other things, but it is what it is. I am a mood reader when it comes to seasonal stuff, so whatever strikes my fancy is what I'm gonna read. And that about wraps it up. It's gonna keep me busy this month. So if you liked this video, if you like spooky season, if you like murder mysteries, thrillers, horror, go ahead and give this video a like and subscribe to my channel because it really does help me out and let me know what you guys want to see. And I want to know what you're reading this spooky season. Comment down below what are some of the Halloween fall themed books that you are celebrating this year. As per usual, a huge thank you to all of the friends and family who have readily supported me along this journey. It truly means the world to me, and I can't wait to see what's on the next page. Happy Halloween, y'all!